everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Alex and today I'm going to be talking about some of my favorite book-to-screen adaptations. Now, book-to-screen adaptations are something that I really enjoy, and I think that they have been getting more of a space in media recently, which makes me really excited. I've seen a lot more books being adapted into screenplays, whether for TV or movies, and it's just something that I enjoy. I am trying to make it my goal to catch up on some of my book-to-movie adaptations. This is actually the first of two videos that I'm going to be doing. So today I will be talking about some of my favorite book-to-screen adaptations, and the next video you see from me will be some adaptations that I haven't seen yet but really want to get to. So without further ado, let's get started. So the first one I have to talk about is probably the most obvious and is going to be on everybody's lists, but that is going to be Harry Potter. Everybody and their mom loves these movies, even if they've never read the books, and I adore the movies. Who doesn't love the movies? I think that they were casted perfectly. Obviously, there are some changes from the original source material, as there are in any adaptation, but I feel like the changes were really well done, and I loved getting to watch these characters grow up on screen, and I am enjoying the follow-ups with Newt Scamander, so I just thought I'd go ahead and get this one out of the way because everybody knows that it's one of the best. Another book series adaptation that I have really loved, and I'm not going to get them down, but you can probably see them up behind me, are the Series of Unfortunate Events by Lemony Snicket. The first three books in the series were turned into a movie back several years ago, and I adored that movie, and I really wish that they would have continued making them, but they are now a Netflix original series, and Neil Patrick Harris plays Count Olaf, and I think that he does an incredible job. I have never reread a Series of Unfortunate Events since I read them originally when I was younger, but I highly enjoyed them. I was not one that read Harry Potter when I was young. My series was a Series of Unfortunate Events. That's what really got me into reading. So watching it come alive on screen with these talented actors, and it's just a beautiful adaptation. If you haven't seen it yet, please go and watch it. The series has 3 seasons, and every episode goes through half of a book. So for example, the first and second episodes cover book number 1. The third and fourth episodes cover book number 2, and so on and so forth up until the end of the series. I just thought that Netflix did an incredible job with this adaptation. The actors are so talented, the storyline stays really close to the original and honors it very well, and we get Patrick Warburton as Lemony Snicket, and I adore him, so you really can't ask for more. Another one that I of course have to mention is The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. There have been multiple adaptations of this. There was one back in the 1970s with Robert Redford, which I have not seen, and of course there was one that came out in 2013 with Leonardo DiCaprio, which I've seen multiple times, absolutely love. A lot of people aren't as into that adaptation and don't think that it is as good of a retelling, but I absolutely adored it. I, of course, love Leonardo DiCaprio and Tobey Maguire both in this movie. I really think that they did an excellent job adapting this. It sticks very closely to the original story, even down to the point where some of the script lines are the same as lines in the novel, which is something that I can really appreciate. This book will always hold a really special place in my heart, so of course I love the movie as well. Now, those 3, I feel like either everybody already knows what they're about, or I've talked enough about them for you to know what they're about, so I didn't give any description for those, but these next few, I'll go ahead and give you just a brief description in case you don't know what they're about. So the next one was my most recent watch off of this list, and that is Every Day by David Levithan. This was turned into a movie that's available on Hulu, so if you're interested in the premise and you haven't seen the movie, I will recommend that to you. Very briefly, Every Day follows a character named A who wakes up every single day in a different body, so A never gets attached to anybody because they know that the next day they're going to wake up somewhere else, but one day A wakes up in the body of a boy named Justin, and A ends up falling in love with Justin's girlfriend Rhiannon and trying to start an actual relationship with her. I first read this book back in 2014 and pegged it my favorite book of all time. I reread it in July and very much enjoyed it again. I also watched the book to movie adaptation, and it is one of my favorites. I think that it takes an incredibly talented cast to pull off a role like A, because each actor is of course their own person, and they're all different genders and different skin colors, but they all have to play the same person, and the way that it was crafted was beautifully done. In the movie, we mainly follow through Rhiannon's perspective, which I thought was a really interesting choice, and I really enjoyed the way that they did it, and again, the actress that plays Rhiannon is incredibly talented. There are some familiar faces in here. The actor that plays Justin has been in a couple John Green movies. I don't remember his name, but I'll put it or a picture of him up here. And the kid that plays Peter Parker's best friend in the new Spider-Man movies, is also in this movie. He plays A very briefly, so that is exciting. But regardless, if this sounds interesting to you, or if you have already read the book and haven't seen the movie, like I said, it's available on Hulu, so you might as well go. It's not very long and it's beautifully done. So I'm also planning to film a full spoilery review of this book as well as the movie, so as soon as that is posted, I will leave it up in a card for you and in the description down below. Another one of my favorite book-to-screen adaptations is Big Little Lies by Leanne Moriarty. This is a mystery novel that follows a group of moms whose kids all go to school together, and you know that there is a murder. So you spend the book trying to figure out who has been murdered and who murdered them, and following these moms throughout their daily lives just to see what builds and how we get to where we go. Now, I will say I have not seen season 2 yet, but I wanted to go ahead and put this adaptation in this list because season 1 is the book. So the whole story of the book ends at the end of season 1. So season 2 is all brand new material. I will say this adaptation has such a star-studded cast. It's almost worth watching for that alone. We have Shailene Woodley, Reese Witherspoon, Nicole Kidman, Zoe Saldana, and a couple other people that are slipping my mind. And I know in the second season, Meryl Streep comes into the cast as well. So you truly cannot go wrong. Again, like I've said for all of these actors are just so talented. This one, obviously, it's a mystery thriller. It is a little bit darker, so just be aware of some triggers that might be in there for you. I would look into those further. But overall, this series is just an on the edge of your seat kind of thriller. It's just so good. If you're in the mood, if you need something like that, something dark and kind of creepy, just go do it. The last one that I'm going to be talking about today is To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han. This book follows our main character, Laura Jean, and when Laura Jean has a crush on a boy and she wants to get over him, she writes him a letter confessing all her feelings, seals it up, puts it in a hat box, and stores it away, and that is how she kind of moves on with her life. Well, one day she comes home to discover that all of the letters in her hat box have been sent out to these boys, and now they all know that she was in love with them at some point, and she has to deal with the consequences of that. This is one that a ton of people were excited about when it came out. This is a Netflix original movie, so it is very widely accessible if somehow you have not seen it already. I know, at least in my personal circle, even people that aren't readers that I know watched and really enjoyed this movie. One of the things I loved most about this book is the family aspect. Laura Jean and her two sisters are all really close, and they're really close with their dad, and that's something that I really appreciated seeing portrayed on screen. And I know that there is going to be an adaptation for the sequel book, which is called P.S. I Still Love You. I will say though, at the end of To All the Boys I've Loved Before, we got a glimpse of one of the main characters of the second book, and then they recasted him, which makes me upset because the person that they showed at the end of the first movie was like perfect, but they didn't call me. They didn't ask me to make that decision. So that is really it for my list. I know that a lot of people have seen these. This is nothing out of the ordinary. These are all pretty popular adaptations, but they are some of my favorite and some that have truly stuck with me. I guess a bonus one that you could throw in that it's not book to movie or book to screen, it's book to stage. I guess you could say Hamilton, because technically it's based off of a book, even though it's based off of history. But regardless, I got to see Hamilton in February and it was so good, so good. I've been a Hamilton fan for years, so it's amazing. But I don't know if you'd really count that as a book adaptation, but just in case. So that is it for my favorite book to screen adaptations. If you have read or seen any of these movies or books or shows or whatever, leave all of your thoughts on them in the comments down below and maybe recommend a few to me. Who knows? If you like what you saw today, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button and also click subscribe so that you don't miss out on any of my content. So until next time, bye!